Welcome back to another episode of Through Our Lens. And today, I have a friend on here. I consider her a friend, Shaniece.
Hello.
What's poppin',
Hello, everybody.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. How about you?
Good. I'm good, man. I'm blessed. You know what I'm saying? Getting this thing together. It's the second leg. You are the first individual on the second leg of the podcast.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, the second season. So, I
nice. What an honor. Thanks for having me.
Oh, man. So, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I am a Philadelphia native. I have been in LA almost going on 6 years now.
Okay.
Sheesh, time goes fast.
So
almost 6 years. Going on 6 years now. Yeah.
You in this thing.
Yeah, for the most part, I ain't going nowhere. So there's that. But so yeah, I pretty much came up doing college concerts. Worked for a number of different colleges, like within the Los Angeles area, where I would oversee like all the fun stuff on campus, basically sorority and fraternity life.
Okay.
And then came across one institution that actually had a student radio station as well as a student concert board, and basically I oversaw those two entities at Occidental College, which is, in Highland Park here. Yeah, so I was there for 3 years doing their shows. So all the college shows, all the college concerts. I've done like really big scale shows down to like small scale shows with the radio station.
Oh, I see.
So anyway, and I did that for about 3 years or so and like really developed a passion. I've always like loved music and I'm super organized and I've done a lot of event planning stuff. Yeah. So when I was able to kind of like meet the music and the organization part of myself together and like start playing concerts, I found that to be like my niche and was like, okay, I don't want to do anything else but this.
Yeah.
And like eventually I went to own my own music festivals specifically, but a lot of my friends like have come up in the music industry. One of my very, very best friends, he discovered Tierra Whack and is our manager currently. So, and we've been friends for over 20 something years. So, he's been, of course, my friend, but also like a huge mentor to me, like within this industry and just like, kind of helping me navigate and guide things. But, from Oxy, I was like, I don't ever want to like not do shows ever again. And I want to do this on a full-time basis. So, started off as like production manager, been doing like smaller shows for smaller platforms. I've worked with, a number of artists from D Smoke to Ozion to Reggie Becton, Kenneth Whalum, things of that nature until I met Miss COCO Jones, which is where currently who I'm tour managing for, specifically kind of act as tour manager as well as road manager for COCO, where I am responsible for pretty much advancing all of her live performances and appearances. Working behind the scenes with the producer. She's pretty much a hot commodity right now. So working behind the scenes with the producers to, for any live show that she's booked on or speaking engagement, ensuring that like all of her tech requirements are good, scheduling sound checks, scheduling transportation to and from the venue, scheduling our transportation specifically, working with the band, coordinating with further house engineers, like all of it is
all around,
all over the place. So tour manager, the role specifically encompasses a lot. Everything.
Yeah, my first time being on a tour was the top of this year actually, and I was actually communicating with the tour manager, and I'm like, bro, you really are like everywhere. Like she was communicating with me, like I'm talking about like from the front of the house to the back of the house, like everything. That's crazy. So, like, I want to ask you, how did you get involved with Jazz Hands for Autism?
Sure. So, like I said, been doing, I have different clients that I work with specifically in producing their shows. So, one person a lady that I work with, she owns a nonprofit organization. It's called Live Out Live. And I've done a number of, like, R&B shows for her, specifically, like, at the Vermont Hollywood. So, meaning production managing as well as stage managing some of those shows. So coordinating everything from, like I said, sound checks, rehearsals to, the set times, run of show, the entire scheduling for literally the entire crew, artists, as well as their management teams as well. this person that I work with, specifically like with Live Out Live, she actually recommended me for Jazz Hands. Jazz Hands for Autism is a nonprofit organization specifically for musicians who are on the spectrum of autism, and some of the most talented, amazing musicians that you can ever think of. But they do a biannual concert, one in the spring and one in the fall, specifically for their musicians to showcase like what they've been working on throughout the year, and to also like showcase their progress, you know, kind of going throughout the organization, and you know, as their musical skills increase and things of that nature. But basically, I was recommended to production manage their recitals, and I've been doing them for the last year or so. So I did the last two, so the spring concert as well as the fall concert, and it's a pretty big lift. We spent about 2 to 3 months or so planning. It's about 20 different acts. So it's a pretty, you know, pretty strenuous like recital, if you will, pretty heavy lift. But I organize all of that and schedule, you know, everything and manage the entire concert.
That's dope. So like I'm listening to you and you like very knowledgeable of everything that you do. Like, so like take me back, let's like rewind. So about when did you think that you were gonna be doing this?
I would say so. That same friend that I mentioned, who's Tierra Wax manager, I've never heard of a tour manager or anything of that nature. I up until maybe about, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago or so. I literally have always liked music, love music. Literally, my friends call me Radio. That's literally my nickname. And for the longest time, I couldn't figure out like how to mesh the worlds together, or like where I could fit in music wise, if you will, because like I don't play an instrument, I don't rap, I don't sing. Well, I did try to rap, but
what?
No one.
Wait, whoa! You gotta rap.
One person knows that, and one person witnessed that, and he should probably never speak about it ever. And it's actually the person that I'm talking about, my friend of 20 years. So yeah, he should probably never speak of that ever in life.
What? You was about to have your own little situation.
Imagine that. No, I could never be anyone's rapper at this point. I couldn't. No. So anyway, I couldn't figure out exactly where, what in music, where I would land specifically. Naturally, a lot of people were like, well, you should manage, do artist management, which naturally I probably will get into, especially, kind of coming off of this tour management thing. Essentially, is pretty much the same thing. Yeah. But I have a really good ear for music, as well as like a really good ear for spotting talent as well. That said, as far as like knowing I wanted to do this, I didn't know that tour manager or production manager or any of that really existed, to be honest with you. I know obviously live shows existed, but never really thought about like putting the two together. I did a lot of event planning kind of coming up, and especially like within college settings, like being responsible for sorority and fraternity life, all the fun events on campus. I had a pretty extensive background in event planning, and it wasn't until I was able to kind of mesh those two worlds together when I got to Occidental College and was able to oversee the concert process with both the student radio station as well as the student concert board. That I was like, oh, I could marry these two worlds. Like, this is music, which I love. I've always been a stick. I will spend my last dime on a concert. Anytime I like a song, the first thing I do is look it up live. So I've always been like a huge stickler for live music. And then when I figured out I could marry the two, it was like, okay, this is the direction. This is the lane that I'm going to go up. So
you said that you love music. Where did that begin? Like as a kid, like
yeah, for sure. As a kid, my first song, I remember when I was like 4. Biggie's Big Papa. To all the ladies in the place with style and grace, allow me to, like, I was 4, knew the whole thing by heart.
4?
Yeah, it's literally crazy, and it, like, that's why my friends call me Radio, like how music sticks to me. Like, since this album came out on Friday, my favorite song on there, if it's on, I could probably spit the whole thing to you. It just sticks. I don't know why. It just does.
I used to always ask myself that because I used to be in school and I'm like, I can't remember this test. But when it comes to music, I can like remember songs after the first situation. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Then I've always found myself in the same brim of like, I can't remember this, but these lyrics will definitely stick to me for sure. So, and ever since then, it's just like, I remember my parents buying me my first like cassette player radio. Like I've been just
I was
hooked
gonna
ever
ask
since.
you, like, which one of your parents did both of them love music, or it was just like, hey,
I would say my dad more loved music a lot more, right, and growing up I was like closer to him. Like I was literally inseparable from him. So like anywhere from oldies like to the point now where Marvin Gaye, Anita Baker, like all these
you old school.
I'm very, very old school. Even with the new music that I select now and stuff that I listen to, it's all gonna like still go back like to older things or connect me to some type of like nostalgic type of situation.
Timeless. Yeah, man, that type of stuff is timeless, man. That's dope. That's dope to hear that, because I like when I first met you, I would look and I'm like, dang, like is people have a story, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, dang, like I wonder. That's why when I first met you, I'm like where you from? And then we just kind of start getting into it, and I'm just like, man, like it's just, to me, it's just good to like hear, but like what's behind the scenes that got you to where you are. Like, so what is some of the like adversities that you face like heading into what you're doing right now?
Sure. I mean, honestly, coming from a collegiate setting and just like transitioning into entertainment, I still feel like, I'm pretty new with that. Even though like in that collegiate setting, I work with some pretty big heavy hitters like Danny Lay, Tierra Whack, Flo Milli. I've done plenty of shows like on college campuses with those like big people. But I would definitely say like the transition from like a collegiate setting into like entertainment specifically is like one, I feel like I'm starting from scratch with building a network, if you will. Whereas though like some of my counterparts or peers who have been in the industry a little bit longer, who might be my same exact age, but they started off in the industry and they, kind of started, and I feel like their network specifically right now, or they're at a certain caliber. We might be the same age, but they're at a certain caliber because they started off specifically in this world. Whereas though I kind of took a hybrid route where I was on the total opposite rim of things, because, I went the education route. Like I approached this on the education route, and then was able to later on discover and marry the two worlds together where it made sense for me. And now I'm making kind of like a later transition, if you will.
Did you have anybody that like mentored you into what you're doing?
Yeah, like I said, my friend,
your friend?
Yeah, my friend who's wax manager, definitely, again, he's been my friend for 20 plus years, if you will. Definitely had a huge hand in just my navigation of things. Like even to this day, I'm still calling him like, this happened. How do I navigate this? Or like this nuance came up in the industry. How do I respond to this? That's or good. Yeah, so he's been super helpful, and he's super knowledgeable and very, very intelligent. So I would definitely say him. And then again, other friends too. I have tons of friends who are producers as well as like other artist managers. So and then just the network that I'm starting to like build now. I think that hopefully I have a pretty good personality, so I'm like, kind of really meeting some like good key people, and our personalities are, kind of like mixing together, whereas though like people are willing to lend a helping hand. I think one thing people can see is like I'm really curious and I want to know, and people can see my work ethic and like they genuinely want to help.
They rock with you.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm definitely utilizing, and tapping on those resources, but also making sure that like I solidify my network, because I'm here for a purpose as well, and I have plans too.
Yeah. So I think about it because like I said, like I watch you, like I be shooting, but I be like, man, cause to me honestly, I like the way you move. I like the way you kind of just handle your business. So like you being a woman, do you feel like you have to assert yourself even more because of like the industry that you're in?
That's a great question. That's a really good question, because I do, in some ways, and this is something that I'm really still trying to find balance on with this like new transition, because I've only like, so just for, just as to preface, I transitioned out of like the collegiate setting this past April. Okay. So this is still pretty fresh, and that was really to work full time on a full time basis with COCO specifically. Right. So this is still like pretty fresh. But to go back to your questions as far as like asserting myself, it's something that now a couple months in that I'm like trying to find a balance of, as far as like asserting myself, because I have something to say, and it's substantial, and I know what I'm talking about, and I feel confident in it in some way. But then I'm also very much the person that's like, I'll fall to the background and just execute.
Yeah.
I'm also very much like an executor, and I don't really talk much. I let my I let my work. Yep, that's exactly what it is. I let my work ethic really talk for me. I don't really talk a whole bunch. It's just like, no, let's just do the work, and let's get it done. Like I don't. Aside from like setting it up, what do we need to talk about? So I'm very, very much that person, but I think that like, I'm in the process of finding a balance between like, no, you need to know, because I did this for, like I did this for a reason. Like I said, I have goals outside of, expanding beyond just like my current situation specifically, but
does working with COCO help?
For sure. This is, like it's COCO, like it's definitely, as far as like the rooms that I'm in, the people that I'm engaging with specifically, I definitely think that I couldn't have asked for a better artist with a better platform and a better reputation as well. Because I think that is also, a key part in this, and being a representative of her team specifically, you know what I mean? I think that has definitely be beneficial with like the navigation and things.
Yeah, I know J Dot, and he ain't gonna like this, but I was talking to bro. I think for the she had a shoot, and we were talking, and he was just like, bro, like COCO, like, and the reason why I asked you that, like, is it easier working with COCO, because he was saying that he was like, bro, working with her, like, she works so hard, it makes you want to work that much harder. You know what I'm saying? And he hinted like, man, like. She kind of has a work ethic like a Beyonce, and that's big for her to be like stepping into her own right now and doing what she's doing. So like, I wanted to ask you, like, what was one of the words of advice that you could say that helped change your life, like right now? Like, cause I know like the road that you're on, like especially taking the educational route, sometimes it can be a long and suffering road. Like, it's okay, it's not taking, it's not coming fast enough. So like was it your friend for 20 years? Like, what was one of the words of advice that probably helped like change your trajectory?
Sure. Honestly, I know that people say like LA is like transient, and I'm from, East Coast, and I would say, just as far as like people coming and going and you're in and out your life and X, Y, and Z. But I will say, this one girl that was an artist, she was in the music world, and I just like randomly got connected with her like maybe my first year out here, and I looked up to her so much just because, one, I wanted to be in the music world, but I could not figure out for the life of me how to, and this was before my friend had introduced like the whole tour management thing. So anyone that was like, when I moved here, anybody that was a part of the world, I like gravitated towards them. And unfortunately I don't speak to this girl anymore. Not that anything happened, we just kind of like, went our separate ways, if you will. But when I was grappling with like, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to get into this? She literally just was like, yo, you can be anything you want to in this world. Because I think one thing I'll say this, as far as like, I've always wanted to be in the music industry, but I've always taken safe routes because I've always been fearful of like, well, the industry is like not really guaranteed, and it's not a lot of security, and like I need to do something that's going to guarantee me this, but I would ignore what I always wanted to do, which was be a part of music, having loved music from such a young age, but couldn't ever figure out like, where I can get in, if you will, or what made sense. I would just always like, well, I'm ignoring and just take a safe route and go get a degree in education and do, all the things. And it wasn't until I was able to marry that together. But in the midst of prior to being able to like discover a world where I could marry those two things together and figure out what my passion was, I was rooted a lot in fear, and a lot of my decision making would be like, oh, I can't do that, I can't, or why I can't, change my whole perspective and my whole career trajectory and just go do something else. And this one girl was like, you can literally do whatever you want to in this world. And I think just having someone my age and being in the field that I really wanted to be in, and someone that I like kind of looked up to, be able to tell me that. And then, I'm here, I moved across country.
That's big.
Yeah. So it just was like, okay. And then that's when my trajectory started to change of like, okay, I can do this. I can flipped my whole world upside down.
So let's talk about you moving from it. Like, I've never, look, I'm born and raised from LA. So, like, how scary is it moving? And I understand you say you came out, you know, from school, you know, whatever, but like, just moving out here, like, on your lonesome. Like, you really out here making it happen, and it's just you.
So here's the thing. I didn't move here for school. I moved here, so I moved here with no job, nowhere to live. I had $1,800 in my pocket. I just randomly decided to leave Philly back in 2017. I was almost done my master's program, and then I got fired from a nonprofit job that I was working but I didn't need to be at anyway. And they knew I didn't, and they fired me with a pretty good package. So they knew it was like, you don't need to be here. So anyway, they fired me with like some money, which was great. So I took that as a sign. And then I had a friend who had like recently moved out here. This is back in 2017 from Philly. She had moved here with a boyfriend, and I'd never been to LA day in my life. And I came. Wow. I came here like February of 2017 just to visit her specifically for a couple of days. And as soon as I landed, I was like, I can't not live here. Yeah. I flew back to Philly. I stayed here for a week. Yeah. Just kind of like kicked it, like looked around. I did do some informational interviews just trying to see if I can get a job. Yeah. But that was my first time here. It was just February 2017. I stayed for a week. I flew back to Philly. 45 days later, I moved out my apartment, sold all of my stuff, and just moved here. I ain't have a job or nowhere to live. I just came. What? Yeah, I was just like, I can't not live here. So
that's the true definition of taking a risk.
Yeah, that was very scary. It was definitely scary, but it was something like, I think it was like one of those things where it was like, I just knew I would be okay. It was my whole family was like, wait, what? You gonna do what? Wait, what? All my friends were like, wait, what? Literally about 3 people were like, do it. But everybody else was like, was looking at me so cross-eyed and just was like, you're nuts right now. I can't believe you're about to do this. And I was like, I'll be fine. I just felt it. I just knew. Like, I just knew. God told me I would be fine. He told me I would be fine.
That's what I'm talking about, bro. Because I'm, like, I feel like, you know, like how they say, like, the greater risk, the greater reward, or whatever the case may be. But it's just, I feel like that's big. Because I got mentors. I know people that, like, move from the East Coast, like DC, stuff like that. And I'm just like, how do y'all do that? You know what I'm saying? Because for a long time, I felt like I was playing the safe route. Like, I mean, I played football, but I never did anything with cameras. Okay. At all, period. You feel me? I worked and I played football, and I was hopeful one day I could make it to the league, get my mom, you know, the dream. Right. And when I like took the risk, got into these cameras, I quit my job.
And you see how you've been doing ever since.
Wow, like I'm talking about like me and Destiny like full time like photography, and talking about COCO what helps me is obviously like taking risks, but I remember like how you said like, no, God told me I'm gonna be okay. I feel like when I made that decision, things just start happening. Like to lead up to COCO, like Destiny was, so she don't want to tell nobody, but she sings. Oh, so. Matter of fact, we're gonna listen to some of her music after we done.
Okay, right? Thanks for the info.
Super duper low key, right? She on her way to the studio, Shaniece, and Shari is taking her to the studio, right? And COCO reaches out to Destiny and was like, "Hey," randomly, and
just via Instagram, just to take some pictures, or
no, she was actually I'm gonna show it to you on my phone. I forgot. She was filming something in the studio. It was like just her and Mike at the time. Like, gotcha. She was like, "Hey, I just need to film something, whatever." And they were like on the freeway, like they was going towards like Carson. Her cousin owns a studio, and Shari was like, "I'm gonna drop you off, and Darnell can go and whatever." And mind you, I'm like, I don't know what we doing. We just got here to this place, and we just trying to figure it out. Right. And it's like God just started making stuff
connecting the dots.
Like I shot for her that day. She hit me up for her birthday, I think at the top of the year. I forgot, not the top of this year, but last year. And as I'm shooting her, Terrell walks past. Yeah. Hey, who are you? And then it just started, and I'm like, oh, God, and like I can't explain some of this stuff, but it's so dope. Like how like when we like just take that leap and believe in ourselves for once. You know what I'm saying? Like it is safer on the other, it is like comfortable on the other side.
Right.
But like once you jump, look every day. I do not know what I'm doing.
Right.
Every day, I'm like I can't tell you what I'm gonna do every day, but it's a comfort when you know God got you. Like, man, I bring you this far. I'm not gonna let you
sit here, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Sit here and just
it's over. And that's what I had to tell myself. Like saying kind of random, like with COCO, I randomly met COCO. Honestly, she I had just finished the Bel Air series, like just watching it. You know, I'm from Philly, so I'm from Philly, so it was like, let me take a look and see what they did with Fresh Prince and see if they ruined it. Right. Yeah. Let me make sure they ain't ruined it. Yeah. But it was a total opposite. I was like, good job. Y'all did a very, very good job. And of course, like, was totally obsessed with COCO.
She killed it.
I missed because I'm a little older, so I missed the Disney Channel wave of things. I'm 10 years older than her, so.
Right. And I'm like, Destiny was like, remember Let It Shine? I'm like,
no.
I was in the streets. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't know.
By this time, I was like, child, wait, what? So I missed that whole wave of her, to be honest with you. So that was my first introduction to her to on the Bel Air series, and then wound up being so obsessed with her. Then pulled her up, and then saw that Caliber was out, and it had just literally had been released.
Right.
I don't know where one of my random friends invites me to a day party. COCO just comes strolling in, literally like a week after.
Was it Black on My Block? Black on the Block?
No, it was some random day party downtown somewhere. I forget the exact name of it, but she just comes strolling in like, you know, whatever, like a regular, like she was a nobody. I'm just like, hey COCO. She was like, hey girl. So then she walks by again, and I'm like, I like Caliber, by the way. She's like, thank you. And then later on, I see her at the bar, and, you know, I just approached her. I was like, hey, listen, like, I produce concerts, and I work with Tierra Whack, Phil Millie, Danny Lay. I showed her my Instagram. She didn't follow me right away. But, like, you know, initially I was, like, a little discouraged, like, damn, she, you know, like, whatever. And then literally 2 days later, I wake up 5 o'clock in the morning. It's a DM from her, like, hey, girl, what's your number and your email? And then a couple hours later, MJ called me. And then we've been working ever since, literally. But I'll say I'll say it was literally maybe the week of that I decided, like, I really was going to quit my higher ed job. And I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. I cannot talk about sorority and fraternity life anymore because I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. I just want to do shows, and that's the only thing I care about.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Dang, that is crazy, man. Like I said, I love to hear stories like that. Like, it helps me have faith more and more and more. It just kind of like put a battery in my back, man. But I just want to say thank you for coming through. Like, you didn't, you know, you created time for this.
Of course.
So thank you so much for coming through, man. And for the viewers, thank y'all for watching. I want y'all to like, comment, subscribe, and tap in with my girl Shaniece, bro. Like,
yes,
she doing things out here, y'all.
Yes.
Thank y'all. Peace.